Hey everyone, welcome back. We got a campaign countdown for you today. My name is Michael. I'm one of the co-founders, and I'm joined by Jeremy Lott of Movie Men today. How's it going?
It's a good day in the neighborhood.
Nice, as Mr. Rogers would say.
Yeah, it might even be beautiful.
Oh man, don't that's no, let's not go too far now.
That's dangerously
um,
optimistic.
exactly. But you were saying earlier that it's pretty good weather over there in Washington.
Oh yeah, for here. Like we always say that it rains a lot here, and it does, but it's not. There's not a lot of downpours usually, but lately it's been very, very rainy. Um,
Uh,
so it's nice when the sun decides to put an appearance and remind us
yeah.
that we can indeed get sunburned if we stay out long enough.
Oh man, that's pretty rare. So that's a nice treat for you.
Yes.
So you've been working on your movie Men comic, and it's been in on Indiegogo
Yep.
for about half a month now. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's about 20 days. We're 39 days left, and it was like a 60-day campaign that I
Okay, nice.
went for. So yeah, I mean we're to the basically to the 1/3 point, and we're about 50, I think 9% funded.
Oh,
So
nice, nice.
it's a good place to be, but you're also kind of the way these campaigns work. It's kind of a U curve where at the beginning there's all this interest, and then it dips, and then you got to kind of find ways to keep interest going, and then toward the end it tends to come back up. Um, but I just want to get I want to get a lot of people to sign on for this comic because I think it's a lot of fun, and you know, it, I had a blast doing it, and I just really think that a lot of people will have a fun time reading it. So I don't want them to miss out.
Now you've talked a little bit about your inspirations behind it in previous streams, but could you just tell us briefly kind of what inspired you to create this comic?
Yeah, I mean, I used to go to a lot of movies in the theater. I would go to, at least 50 movies a year, sometimes as high as 70 something. Um, and as I would go to these movies, I would think about the theater too, because it becomes, where you're at. It plays an important role in your life, I guess. You spend a lot of time at the bowling alley. You start to think about bowling alley, right? Um, and at one point, Regal decided to redesign all of their employees' uniforms so they looked like vaguely like X-Men uniforms, at least to my eyes. And so I started thinking, what if they were a super team? And how would that work? And I tried to imagine all the different ways that could work, but nothing really came together until um, I was, when you're watching a movie about 5 or 10 minutes in, an usher will come in with a little glow wand and check the exit and make sure that it's closed and no one's sneaking in and that everything's kind of copacetic in the theater. And then he leaves, right? But I thought, well, what if he found a bomb when he was checking the exit, right? And then just a lot of things came together in that moment. And I started, working on it, but I had the germ for what became Movie Men in my head.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, as coming from because I used to work at a movie theater as an usher, so I could totally relate to that.
Yeah,
I wish my movies would come off the screen. Right?
yeah, yeah.
That's
No,
funny, man.
and you can see in the preview pages. In this case, it is something like a bomb, and it blows up, but it leaves the usher still in one piece, and the movie theater standing, and the monsters are all gone. And then the people at the theater or the workers there have to figure out what's happened and how to fix this.
Nice.
So I
So,
I guarantee you didn't all the things you had to deal with. You didn't have to deal with anything quite of that magnitude.
definitely not. Yeah, I definitely didn't see any T Rex or any mummies. I don't think. Only on the screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
That sometimes for people will dress up for when they go into
Hmm.
movies, right? Did they
Mhm.
did they do that a lot at your theater, or
It
was
kind of depends on the screening.
yeah,
Like for a big like Star Wars, always we like those kind of things, and then kind of a bigger event movies, definitely, or even
yeah,
during holiday times, like Halloween, definitely.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that would make sense. Uh,
yeah.
are there any cool costume stories you have from that?
Hmm. No, none that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't think.
Okay.
I have more costume stories from conventions now than anything.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I just wondered. I wondered if like a witch's hat ended up in Lost and Found or something.
No, nothing like that. That would be pretty awesome though. You find like a dinosaur claw. But yeah, did you? So you've never worked in a location like that, or
I've never worked in the theater. I've just been there so often that
that that's kind of where you came more from the movie goer perspective.
Yeah. Well, plus I've read about
And
it.
just wondering about it.
Yeah. Yeah, wondering about it. And I would like read books about the business of movies and how, like, for
Nice.
instance, I'm sure you know this, but the vast majority of money that comes in for a first run movie goes to the studios, not to the theaters. And the theaters actually end up making it all on popcorn and drinks and that sort of thing. That's where they make a lot of their money. So, and you see that.
You call that out in your comic, don't you?
Yeah, you see that reflected in the hard ass manager of the theater, like yelling at everybody that they need to upsell because that's how we actually make money here. It's true.
That's really funny.
Yeah. So,
Um,
and yeah, like at the theaters, they will yell at people if they don't find out that they're not trying to upsell people because at the workers, because like that's absolutely the way that they keep the lights on.
yeah, and they're very strict about stuff. In my experience at theaters,
Yeah.
they run a tight ship usually.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's still the case, but for a while there, some movies would even cost more to run than you actually took in tickets. So you'd have to, at least the first week or two, like you'd something like 102% of ticket sales or something would end up going to the studios over that.
Why so much? Why would they get so much?
I think what happened in that, it didn't always happen, but I think in that case there was like a bidding war between some of the different theaters, and so some of them said, "Well, we'll pay you above ticket value, slightly above."
Oh,
So I think that's how that. I mean, it's not
interesting.
standard, but it has happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
that makes it funny.
in that case, you really have to sell popcorn.
Jeez. Yeah, that's one thing I'll never forget is the smell of popcorn.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So talking just a little bit about your love for movies and all.
Yeah.
What are kind of some of the first movies that you can remember seeing that like really made you say like I love movies?
I mean, my favorite movie of all time is Condor Man. There's just not a thing that competes with it.
I still need to see that movie.
You totally do. Yeah, it was a thing that ensured that it determined my politics, my love of comic books, so many things. It's a movie about this guy who's a comic book artist who's staying at his friend's house in Paris. The guy works for the CIA, is like a clerk or something, right? And the this comic book artist decides that he has to have real authenticity in his comics, right? And so the stuff that he does there has to actually perhaps work in real life. And so at the beginning of the movie, he flies off the Eiffel Tower and almost drowns in the river there. Yeah, there you go.
Is it? Nice.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that stunt that they did, the lead actor almost drowned doing that stunt.
Jesus. Wow. That's old school Hollywood style for you.
Oh yeah, like that's when you did your own stunts.
For real old. Yeah, that's the real version of doing your own stunts.
Yeah. And
wow.
So his friend talks him into trying to facilitate an exchange of papers with this Russian agent in Istanbul, and then she decides she wants to defect, and she's only going to go with the agent known as Condor Man,
Nice.
because he's quite attracted to her, and so he says that he's not a civilian, he's an actual agent. And he agreed. The CIA then asks if they can help facilitate the defection, and he says, "Okay, but only if you'll make all these things that are in my comics." And they all come into play, as they're escaping and repeatedly snatched by the bad guys, and then manage to get away just in time.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it's a
I like.
terrible.
I like. What's that?
It's a very fun movie.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that. I was just like, I love the car. It looks like there's like some chase scenes here, maybe.
Yeah, you got chase scenes. And
You have some classic chase scenes. I mean, look at that. I mean, that classic style art.
Yep.
Very nice.
And you have one of the. I won't ruin it for you because you really should see it at some point. But it has one of the funniest wedding scenes in the history of movies.
Really? Who's in that? Who are the actors in that?
I have to look it up again. They're not. A lot of them, didn't do
Terribly well known.
Yeah. It's Michael something is the lead actor.
Michael Crawford, Barbara Carrera. Yeah, I haven't heard many of these people really.
Yeah.
Huh. So, yeah, I'll check it out. Is it on Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix. When Disney does their streaming, it'll probably be available.
Yeah, is it because I saw something like a picture that said Marvel? Does that have anything to do with Marvel, or was it just like someone made that image?
When Disney bought Marvel, a bunch of fans, begged them to have Condor Man put out through Marvel, and Disney was like, no, not interested.
Wow, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, and it's an old movie. I think it was released in 1978, so the year I was born. But and apparently it was like a co-production, and so there's some rights issues, and so they can't like release it on DVD easily or something.
Yeah, Matthew in the chat says Jeremy stalking Condor Man again, huh? Some things never change.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah, when people ask me who your favorite superhero is, I say, well, it's either Condor Man or John Sable from John Sable Freelance, and there you go. Who?
Exactly. That's you literally. Yeah. That's so funny. I'm looking up now. Let's see. John Sable.
Yeah, that was a Mike Grell creation, and it was first comics put it out in the 1980s.
Huh. Interesting. Freelance. John Sable Freelance.
Yeah.
One second. I'm just gonna pull it up on the thing here.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
What's the genres in this one?
The John Sable.
Mm-hmm.
He's a I guess you would call him a vigilante, but he was an African hunter. He's kind of a vigilante. The thing that he does that actually pays money is that he is a children's book author, but he doesn't want anyone to know that. Yeah, I don't know. He gets himself into all kinds of adventures, and sort of masked adventurer, I guess. The mask is a like a hunting mask, basically, from Africa, because he spent a lot of time in Africa. Mm. And he doesn't. Everyone knows who he is. When they ask him, why do you wear that mask, and he goes, it scares the hell out of the bad guys.
That's interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't really conceal his identity, does it?
No.
But it's kind of almost like it looks to me almost like a James Bond-esque kind of thing.
Yeah,
maybe?
it definitely. It's there's some spying. There's not like superheroes in this world. He exists in our world. But
nice.
Does things that you could probably do
if you were very determined.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, so those are some of the kind of inspirations that you had early on.
Yeah, those are my earliest comic book inspirations. So, when it comes to movies, there's just so many. I've seen thousands of movies. My head is like like it's a sponge that's just soaked up so many different things from this and that movie. It's you'd have a fun time in here for about 5 minutes.
Now, Matthew also asks, Jeremy, are you going to be picking up the new Maggie the Cat? I've got my eye on it, but I'm a little rich. It's a little rich for my blood at the moment.
I'm going to once he releases the second half. So the Maggie the Cat was a character that in John Sable Freelance, and then in the mid '90s, Mike Grell worked with Image Comics. He did a book called Shaman's Tears. He did Maggie the Cat was a spinoff character from John Sable, right? And it only half completed. And the thing that's being released on Kickstarter right now is the first half with some additional stuff, but it's basically what's already been released. And then they're gonna Grell is gonna bring out the latter half of that. When he brings out the latter half, then yes, I'll get the whole kit and caboodle. But I've
no
already
pun intended.
yeah. But I've already gotten what's there now. Now, I don't mind getting it all again, but I want to get it all at once.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with that title, but that's interesting. It sounds like it's a spinoff, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Maggie the Cat was kind of like the Catwoman character in.
Oh, so it's not an actual cat.
Yeah. I mean, she's a cat burglar,
Oh, okay. I was picturing like like an actual cat named Maggie.
Oh no.
Like it was like the other character's pet or something. No,
Yeah,
that's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a on again, off again love interest for John Sable, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, very much the Batman Catwoman kind of dynamic.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, with how many days do you have left on your campaign?
I believe it's 39 days left.
39 days. So you went for more of an extended campaign. It sounds like.
Yeah, I wanted people to have lots of chances to back this because I know that people's wallets are stretched pretty thin with all these campaigns, and I wanted it to be so that there are several different pay periods where people could plan to back it, and I also priced it so that at any point you can get a PDF for $4. You can get the comic delivered to your door if you live in the U.S. for $10, right? I priced it to move, and I priced it so that those small amounts of money can be used when you have them to spend.
Nice. That's a pretty good way to do it. Yeah, I think that's smart because not everyone is going to be able to get to it at the same time. So it's good to be able to have that reach.
Well, yeah. The other thing is just that I also, and haven't pushed as hard as I could on the campaign to this point. Partly just because there are some other campaigns that I really want to see make it. I know that's horrible. I'm not pushing hard enough for my own campaign because I want the Ferryman to get funded. I want.
Right. Yeah, Ferryman's just extended their campaign, I think.
Yeah, they've extended it a bit, but I want the Sporks to get funded.
Yes.
And I want us all to get funded. But I mean,
right.
I wanted to make sure that there was as little of a contest financially between myself and a lot of these campaigns that I really want to see funded as possible.
It's kind of a fun little meta game almost.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I hate when I see one of these crowdfunders for a book that I really want to read fail.
Yeah.
I know that you can come back and you can regroup, and a lot of them do, and that's great. But that means it's going to take longer for me able to read that comic book.
Yeah, that is disappointing when you're one of those backers and you just can't quite make that goal.
Yeah.
But I see what you mean about we have the Sporkman and then the Mythoverse guys are coming up too, and there's a lot of witty guys coming up right now.
Absolutely,
which is really exciting to see.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Mythoverse stuff. I'll throw down first day
nice
on that one because
I can't wait to read those.
I'm just primed to back that. I think it's gonna be great. Plus, a lot of them are based in my state, so how could I not?
That's true. There's a lot of Washington people up in the Wicked group, I've noticed.
Oh yeah, I don't know how that happened, especially with you guys in California, but yeah, it's a very Washington State centric company. We're gonna have to get together at some of the conventions here.
That would be nice. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. It's I know it's a gaming convention, but PAX might be kind of a cool one to do down the line.
Yeah, I'm up for doing any of the conventions, you know. I want to get out, especially once we get product and stuff. I want to get out to the conventions and just meet lots of people and sell these books and have a fun time with my fellow creators afterwards.
Yeah, I love the conventions. They're part of the probably the funnest part about it. Just like you said, meeting people and getting talking about your book, and it's so cool when the first time someone asks you to sign their book, it's like,
Oh
wait,
yeah,
really, you want my signature?
yeah,
Right. So yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's definitely really cool.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've published books before, but they haven't been comic books, and I'm very looking forward to being able to sign my name to a comic book.
you said you have?
I said I published books before, but they haven't been comic books.
Ah, yes, yeah. Because you come from a writing background.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've written I've had 3 books published with my name, and then I was the recognized ghostwriter of former governor's memoirs, things like that.
Yeah, so it's interesting you coming into a more kind of a because it sounds like you were doing more what is it, fiction, and now you're
Nonfiction.
doing kind of
I was doing
nonfiction rather.
nonfiction, and now I'm doing fiction. Yeah.
Right. I always get this confused. But yeah, no, yeah, it's an interesting transition to come from that. So it's cool to see. Kind of
Yeah.
getting to be more creative on a little bit.
Oh yeah, I love it. But I tried quite a bit to write fiction, prose, rather than
Hmm.
comics, and I just had the hardest time writing dialogue.
Really?
Yeah, it was very difficult for me to because they all just sounded like me, you know. And I just had a hard time differentiating the characters enough that I thought this was convincing. And then I started doing comic books, and because you have little designs for the people, I don't know, my brain just treated it differently, and it's a lot easier to write dialogue. It became easier to write dialogue for comic books, but then I turned back and went and started doing prose again, and it was easier for the characters to be differentiated because now I'm thinking just more in terms of what they look like, um,
Mm.
and it really helps.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It's like it's like coming from how I used to play, Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. It's when you get that visual, you kind of start leeching. You kind of start getting like characteristics just based off of the visual itself, and that can really inform your writing, I think.
Yeah, I didn't real. If I would have known that trick years ago, it would have saved me lots and lots of failure.
Yeah, right. Seriously, I wish we could all know that sooner.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's a good point, and I've actually found because I've been doing that light novel, I find that actually it's been helping too. Like I'll get the character designs back from the artist, and it's like, oh yeah, that's interesting, and I never thought about that, and it makes me think of stuff to incorporate and to write into the characters, and so yeah, I always like that.
Yeah,
Now, what has it been like for you to work with Doug on this book?
it's been a dream. Doug, he's been doing online comics for years. He knows he's probably forgotten more about comic book storytelling than I've learned so far. And he's very very good. When I got him to do the designs, he basically nailed it on the first take. Um, and his designs were so vivid that it actually helped me to see these characters as individuals rather than just as sort of stand-ins. Um, and then he sent me thumbnails, and of course I just okayed them, and then he was I didn't expect this. I should have, I guess, but everything came back to me finished. I thought I'd be getting black and white sketches back, and instead I've gotten stuff that's colored and lettered and done. So I didn't have to go get that work done. It was great. It
That's
saved me. It
that's like
saved,
professional right there.
yeah, it saved me lots of effort. It was wonderful.
Wow. Yeah, that's nothing you can ask for more than a good working relationship with an artist you really like.
Oh yeah. He's we've interacted a little bit personally. We never met in person, but
Mm.
I think he's just a great guy, and I love working with him. And I want to do more movie men stuff with him. And one of the updates, I teased this thing so that people could see this other project that we might do at some point called Nobody's Puppet. And you've got a kid with his hand in a puppet, and the puppet it looks like a superhero, and it's flying, and the kid is terrified.
Let me see if I can pull that up. So you say he's not excited to be there. Sounds
No.
like.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna definitely pull that up on the screen. I
Okay.
love that. I love that. Oh man, the puppet looks so awesome. It's so fun. Here we go. I love it. It's obviously based in Seattle again. There's the Space Needle,
Yeah, I don't know if that's where we'll. And I kind of think
and maybe he's leaving Seattle.
maybe. I kind of think it might end up being set in Portland rather than Seattle, but because I have
Oh
a
really?
couple other things I'm working on that are set in Seattle. So, but
Okay.
maybe.
Portland. Don't they say keep Portland weird or something like that?
Oh,
Or
it is weird. It is a very
yeah.
weird place. But so if you're Portland has a bunch of bridges, and so if you can imagine this kid like being flown by this, like threaded through a bunch of bridges, that would be the Portland equivalent of this.
I love this idea. I hope you guys end up getting to do that one too.
Yeah, I really want to. But
Nice.
you got to do one and then the other.
Right. I know. Isn't that's the hardest part about it all.
Yeah.
You always have an idea for the next one, but you're like, oh, gotta focus. Gotta get through the first one.
Oh, yeah, I've got like I don't know. So I've had it written down. I had like 12 or 18 or a very
Oh my
large number
god.
of ideas that I like developed enough where I could actually
Actually use them.
use them. Yeah. So, but
Jeez.
and I've got artists working on I don't know. I think 5 of them right now. But we'll get it. We'll get there eventually.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. First, let's get Movie Men past the finish line.
That's right. So, and then I want to do more Movie Men. I think that this is I like these characters. I like this idea. I like that it's set in Bellingham. I like a monster's escape from the screen to menace people. It's just it's like a monster movie come to life. It's just what's not to like about that.
Right. I know. I mean, that's perfect. That's why I think fans of movies, especially, will really love this one because it's like a comic homage almost to the love of movies.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is a love letter to movies, to monster movies, to
Nice.
the just magic of movies.
That's awesome. As someone who's always loved movies, I really appreciate that. It's something I really connected with, I think, as well in the comic.
Yeah, I was really glad that you guys liked it and wanted to publish it. Because I really I think you have something special that you're growing here.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy that you said that. It's been such a cool experience to come together with all the different creators to really make something unique and special.
Yeah.
And I think we're so much stronger together than we are separately. So I think it's really really cool to see us working as a team like that.
Oh yeah.
It was if someone to tell me where we were like a year ago, like I don't know, I'd be hard to press to believe that. It'd be like really, because yeah, I mean we've really grown in the last year. So
Yeah.
but it's all part of you guys, all because of the creators that we signed on.
Yeah. I mean, growth the way it happens is it's just it kind of catches up with you.
Yeah.
All these little pieces over a long time, and then all of a sudden it comes together, and you got something huge.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of like the comic work we do in itself. We have all of these. We're as creators. We work with other artists and letterers and things, and we put all our collaborative efforts together to make something that stands together as a singular product.
Oh yeah.
Which I've always enjoyed that collaborative effort of that.
Yeah, I mean, and one of my favorite things is to get pages back from artists. It's like Christmas, when I get them back, even if they're not perfect. Just seeing it start to take shape. Like when I get thumbnails back, I love it.
Yeah. I just got some thumbnails back the other day myself, and it's like oh, you can already start to envision what might come, like what's going to be the final one, and it's like it's the gears going.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where you had to kind of step back and say, well, this isn't quite what I was looking for on this page. Maybe we can retool this?
Yeah, I've done that. There's a little bit of that, but then there's also sometimes when it's a little different than I expected. And then I think about it and I think, well, is that better or worse than what I had? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's better, right? And it actually adds an element to the story that I hadn't originally conceived of. Like there's a comic I'm doing called Murder, and the artist, there's a fight, and he had a guy go back into the bar after something heinous happens, right? And I didn't have that in the script, but it actually adds extra menace to the character. And I'm like, yes, he needs to go back in the bar.
That's interesting. Yeah, murder sounds like a dark one for sure.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely the hardest time I had when I was writing that is that I kept trying to make it into a superhero story until I finally realized, like, no, this is a horror story, you idiot.
Did you ever think about doing like a superhero horror combination or something like that?
I mean, I think that like if they're that particular project, you would
Mm.
see a little bit more of that in subsequent stories, like where it might be a little bit
Mm.
more heroic at some point. But
Okay.
but this particular story I was telling, it's no, it's horror. It,
That's funny
it's
how.
it's horror. The whole thing is like these people did something bad, and they are damned for what they did, and they can't stop it.
So once that clicked, the story finally worked for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then I was like, oh, okay, perfect. I don't have to make this the protagonist, I guess you'd call him, into a superhero. He's just like an avenging angel. Perfect.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you have a couple different genres. It sounds like you're writing. Do you have a particular favorite, or are you really kind of interested in many different styles and genres?
I like stuff that sort of straddles, because movie men, there are elements of superhero in it, but I wouldn't call them superheroes. I think that they're more like Ghostbusters. I think a good description of them is it's like, and I didn't come up with this, but they're like Archie meets Ghostbusters with some Last Action Hero thrown in.
Yeah. Are, huh, yeah, okay. Last Action Hero, that's the Schwarzenegger one, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's where stuff comes off the screen, like
Ah,
yeah.
oh no, I'm confusing it with Jingle All the Way.
Oh no, different movie.
Same actor, different movie.
Yeah.
Which
But I mean, it straddles genres, right?
right? Okay.
And I think that that's going to be the case with a lot of what I do. There's a project that I'm working on called AUMF, which normally that's an abbreviation for authorized use of military force, right? So the reason that we're in the Middle East is because of a agreement called an AUMF that Congress passed. Yeah, but in this case, it's called an authorized use of mega human force. And can you still hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, not a problem. And so I'm working with artist Sean Langley on developing that.
You
And
gotta explain that more. Hold on. You gotta explain that concept to me a little more.
okay, all right. So, all right. When we're going to go to war, Congress passes a thing called an AUMF, an authorized use of military force. In this story, that's not what happens. What happens is Congress, for the first time ever, they pass a document that just says all of these mutants, basically, that are allowed to go to this country and mess with them. And so it's kind of like
Sounds bad.
yeah, it's kind of like in the U.S. Or we used to issue what are called letters of marque and reprisal, which is like legalized piracy. Like we would allow pirates or whatever privateers to you'd say like go seize those ships and you can have whatever's in them.
Okay, yeah.
It's a similar thing except they send a bunch of people to a country to mess with them and the one of the problems that I encountered when I was talking about this and writing this with Sean Langley is he kept thinking of them as like a superhero team, and I'm like, no, that is not what is happening.
Yeah, just to be like, wait a second, hold up here.
Do not put costume. They don't have spandex. Trust me.
Yeah, that's not the kind of story this is.
Yeah, but to get to an earlier point you were making about things
Mm.
being a little different than what you expected. There's one point in which a guy kicks a door down in this story, and Sean sent me the roughs and he said, "Should I ink this?" And I go, "It looks great. I love it. But how many people are supposed to be on the other side of this door in the script, right?" And he goes, "Let me check." And he comes back and he goes, "Oh crap. Uh it's only two and there's three guys there." And he goes and then
Mm.
Sean thinks about it for a minute and he goes, "What if the door kills one of them?" And I'm like, "Perfect."
Nah. It's like that's a genius solution right there. That's
Now there's
awesome.
only two.
Yeah, that's a good point. Having to keep track of a number of people is always tricky
Oh
in a
yeah.
comic.
And sometimes it's I screwed up, like sometimes you think you communicated something and you didn't.
Right, yeah. And you have to go back and say, "Oh yeah, I see where that happened."
Yeah. Though I gotta say, with Movie Men, it was pretty smooth. Just the communication between me and Doug. Very few things had to be changed after the fact.
Nice, yeah, that's great. And so it sounds like you have other artists, kind of working with as well. Then for some of these other projects, kind of early stages, maybe.
Yep. Yeah, I got there's a artist out of Brazil named Daniel Caval, and there's
Oh, nice.
I have an entire issue done. Well, in inks. I don't have it lettered yet or colored, but of a comic book called Tarot, which is short for like Pterodactyl Man.
Oh, nice. Is that a Condor Man reference by any chance?
There's definitely some homage there. Yes.
Nice. That sounds just about right. Oh man. Well, that's great. So we're coming up on the what, midpoint of your campaign, maybe a little. You said, I think, third of it, maybe a
Third of
quarter,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
third
I
of it,
mean,
something like that.
we'll be at the midpoint before too long. That's correct.
So we're you're standing at 59%, I believe.
Yep. 59%.
So what kind of stuff do you have planned for stretch goals as we kind of get closer to that finish line?
What we have for stretch goals are we're gonna have fake movie tickets that everyone will get. It says right now if it gets to 200 backers, I think I'm gonna move that forward because I want everyone to get it regardless. So I think
Really
if we get
nice.
I think if we get 100 backers, then everybody gets free movie tickets. And I'm I think we can get there and hit that number. I think we can get much higher, but I want to make sure that everybody gets that.
That's great. Yeah, because I think that's such a cool idea. It's like such a fun perk.
Yeah. The thing I'd like to do too is, I mean, I wish they were like golden tickets or something. And if there actually ever was a movie man like these movie, these passes would get you in.
Well, yeah, it's like maybe we should print some special golden versions, right?
Yeah,
And randomly distribute them
but
amongst the backers. It'll get you to an interview. Or it'll get you a tour of the Movie Men factory.
yeah, something.
Something. Right?
Yeah, but so there's that. We'll do a trading card, and at some point we might get to where everybody gets a pen up. But
Okay.
I think I want to the thing I want to focus most on is getting everybody those fake movie tickets. I've designed them; they look pretty cool. You've seen them, and I think it'd just be a fun thing for people to have. So I'm gonna make sure that happens.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think people will be really pleased with those. And now did you decide if you wanted to go numbered with those by any chance?
Yeah, I think they'll probably be numbered.
Okay, so people who kind of back first should be able to get kind of a lower number, or do you want? Well, I guess the question is, do you see it as something where people get like just a chronological 1, 2, 3 order, or can they choose what number they want?
No, I mean you wouldn't choose. If they're numbered, it's going to be probably where you're the number of the backer you are.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I can see that.
So
Nice.
But in any case, if numbered or not, it's going to be a limited run. And I'm never going to give them out at any other. This will be an Indiegogo exclusive.
So if you want to get that, definitely check that out with this campaign.
Yeah,
Now,
I think one of the updates here in the next week or two, I'll show people what these tickets look like.
Now I see we had you talked about a little bit about a training card as well.
Yeah.
And I also see there's something about a special surprise. Is there anything you could tease us about that at this time?
I mean, the special surprise I think would be a pinup, but we'll just, you know, yeah, I may be surprised by it myself.
And that's the best part about a surprise, right? So,
Yeah,
well, that's cool. So there are tier, there's stretch goals for people to look forward to after you guys get past that initial goal.
yeah. So I want to keep it fun for people. So
Nice, yeah, yeah. So this is your first crowdfunding campaign,
that's
I
correct.
believe. Is that correct? Yeah.
It's my first
Uh,
one.
what has your experience been like running this one?
It's been good. I I wish I would have done, planned it out a little better in the sense that I would have teased it more and let people know more in advance that it was coming.
Hmm.
But in some ways, I just wanted to get into it and kind of discover things. And there's a trade off between those two things.
Right, I could totally see that. Yeah. I see we're joined by the Wicked Clone. Is that you, Matt?
Yes, and
Uh, what's that?
you either cut out or said something wrong. I'm not sure, but it
This
sounded
is
like
some
Wicked Clown.
I
Wicked
don't know.
Clown. Wicked Clone. Wicked
I don't
Clone.
Uh,
I don't hear him at all.
Oh God. Uh,
Here, let me try to rejoin.
yeah, he's gonna try and rejoin.
Okay.
Jeremy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah,
The stupid Google Hangouts thing. I swear.
we definitely need to find a better solution. I always knew Google Hangouts wouldn't last forever. It just I think there has to be a better option. You know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's never been great, but it's been serviceable, and
Yeah.
now they're not even going for serviceable anymore.
Right when that drops out, when the service starts to become crap like that, I mean, you can't really. There's not much you can do there.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I didn't expect diving into this campaign, that I would do it at the same time the Google Hangouts decided to dive off the cliff.
Oh yeah, seriously.
So
Yeah, I
I
don't think
was
anyone saw that coming.
like, the other week I was on FanSpeak, and one of the Booster Gold guy, was on with me, and Chester had to relay all of his questions to me. And
Oh man.
at one point, he actually said he was completely misrepresenting what he said to try to start a fight between us. It was pretty funny.
I bet people watching that actually got a kick out of that.
Oh, I'm sure they were. I would have been dying laughing when I was watching it.
It's like a game of telephone or something.
Yeah. So, Matt, can you say something? I'm gonna see if I can hear you.
Is this a lot better?
I'm getting nothing.
You got nothing.
Nothing. All right.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, it's not. No, it doesn't appear to be working for some reason.
Okay. Well, I think we're about at time now, anyways.
How
Right?
about now?
Sorry.
I don't think so. I don't think he's coming through for you, right, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm not hearing him at all.
1 second.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it. I think we're about to wrap up anyway. So it's all good. If there's any more questions in chat, let us know. But I think we're gonna wrap up for the day.
Yep. But
Oh
we'll
yeah,
be back.
Shinobi in the chat does say that Hangout kind of sucks lately. Yeah,
It's
that's
the worst.
Yeah.
By the way,
Really.
if you're the Shinobi, I think I'm looking forward to backing your book.
I believe he is the Shinobi of Mr. Shinobi Sasquatch fame.
Okay, good.
I'm looking forward to that. And in fact, I don't know if you just saw the announcement. They made Shinobi of Sasquatch and Monster MD are teaming up for a crossover.
Okay, is it going to be? How's that crossover going to work?
I don't know. It sounds like they might. I didn't get to catch the details, but it sounded like they might do some sort of comic, like an extra comic. Maybe it sounded like. I'm not too sure, but cool.
Will
Or
it be like a stretch goal if their campaigns do well enough, then we also get this other thing?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'd have to look into more. I just saw that they made a cool little kind of like a promo for it where they were kind of like pushed together, and I was like, oh man! And they were showing like the monsters, like they're doing like a cool, fun kind of monster themed king. So yeah,
I really want to get that book and then share it with my dad, because he actually believes in Bigfoot.
Oh, nice. Then you should get a big. You should have gotten what's his name, Doug Tentacles.
Oh, I totally got Bigfoot Bill.
Did you really nice? That's epic.
Hey,
Yeah,
how is this? Is this a lot better?
So I
yeah, yeah. I don't. I
No?
think that. Yeah.
Might just be my connection then.
I see Matt's here. I'm not hearing him.
That's all good. I think we're gonna wrap up, Matt. Did you have any questions you wanted me to ask him real quick while we have him?
No, I was kind of listening along, and I believe you got a lot of the questions that I was going to ask as well.
Nice. Nice.
One quick one, since I didn't have enough time before I left my house trying to be able to get on here, but how good is the campaign doing so far? That
He's
is my one thing. I didn't check it yet. So
he was curious how your campaign is doing and how you're getting along with that.
Oh, well, I mean, it's doing well. We're close to 60% funded, and I'm holding up. My nerves are holding, so that's good.
all right, that is really good. That is really good.
That's really good to hear. Um, so yeah, I guess that's about it. I mean, we might do some more streams later down the line, but we'll see. And obviously, you're going to be on some streams. Why don't you tell everyone where they can kind of see you in the upcoming streams and just in general online?
The next thing that I have nailed down is, I believe, next week I'll be on Jeff Lafferty's Artcast. So, and online, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at Jeremy Lott Diary. And my campaign is Movie Men on Indiegogo.
Looks like we got a Rumble Terrier in the chat.
Hey, Rumble!
I asked if you had any questions for you, so we'll see if the Rumble Terrier has any biting questions, you might say. But so let me post your link. So you said on your Twitter, Jeremy Lott, of course, Jeremy Lott Diary.
Yep.
And then are you on any other social media platforms?
I mean, I'm on Facebook, but the place that I do most of my comic book stuff in the open is on Twitter.
Of course, you got the Indiegogo itself.
Yes, please go to the Indiegogo. Please look. I predict you will buy it.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm super excited to see Movie Men come out and where you guys go with that in the future with that franchise and all your projects as well. So I really hope everyone goes out and backs that book when it comes out, or right now rather. Sorry, it's already out. And go back the book and check out the cool tiers they have, and definitely follow him on Twitter for all the latest in news for Movie Men. And thank you, Jeremy, for joining us. We had a great time. I'm sorry, Matt, you weren't able to join us until the end there, but we'll definitely see you next time. And everyone out there, thanks for joining us in the chat. And let us know if you have any more questions. Just send us into the Twitter. And do you have anything final words you want to say for your fans out there, Jeremy?
Final words. It's a nice day here. If it's nice where you are, maybe back Movie Men and then go out and enjoy the sun.
Nice. That sounds a great combo. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks again. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Okay, bye.